Hi everybody, so welcome back to my channel. This is EM, aka the Evolving Black Woman, and today, so I was so between minds about filming this video inside versus outside. Like, it's so beautiful outside. I actually sat outside and had my breakfast this morning. It's that nice outside in March in Toronto, right? So yeah, so as I said, welcome back to my channel. So today we're gonna be continuing like the series that I've really wanted to do around living simple in the city. For those of you who are my subscribers, and I'm so grateful because this is something new that I'm doing. I just want to explore and encourage women who are living in the city to live as simple as possible because it is doable. So yes, with all the madness that is happening around the world and especially in Toronto, some people are finding it hard. That's the truth. But I also believe it has to do with you being intentional about how you want to live and how you want to be and how you want to exist in your space. So that is really why I wanted to do this video. They're literally going to be 4 videos. I actually did a short on it, so I'm actually now want to do the video so that you can actually see and just give you some ideas on how to live simple in the city. So yes, the question have been asked, can you live a simple life in the city? And I actually have my notes because one of the things I want to do in these videos is to make it to be as authentic as possible. I don't want to be creating everything that it would look like this perfect. I don't want that. I'm a very creative, open person. I just want everything to be authentic, and I just want everything to be funny, and so yeah. Okay, so yeah, I have some notes here, and I'm gonna look at my notes from time to time, right? So it say, can you live simple in the city? For me, it's a yes. For you, I don't know what it is, right? So I'm gonna read from my notes here because from my thoughts, it's just like, a simple life, right, in the hustle and bustle of a big city is doable. It has nothing to do with the city. It's who we are, what we want our experience and daily life to look like, right? The bonus is that, guess what? We live in small apartments. That may not be a bonus for you, but it is a bonus for me because with my busy life, I don't want to be cleaning anything big until I can afford help in my home, okay? So yeah. So what we're gonna do today is S, as for the first S in SAPS, which is simple, affordable, proximity, and sustainable, right? We're gonna go through all of them. We're gonna do 4 different videos, and I'm gonna share with you, right? So yes, can you live simpler in a city? So for me, simplicity, as I said, is doable, but you have to be intentional about it, right? And don't mind the noise. As I said, I'm reading from my notes, okay? So yeah, and we want it to be fun over here. I don't want to be like I'm preaching to you. I would love this to be interactive if it could be interactive, but yeah. So stop keeping it simple. So for me, right, moving to the city, and especially being a mom, a parent, right, with children, it can be taxing on our body as women. When you're a mom, when you're a parent, one of the things that you look for is stability. I don't know for anyone else, but for me, and I'm a Capricorn, I look for stability. So stability is a home, somewhere that you can go out, where you can come back from work and you walk into that place, into that space, and that is your space. That is home. Having somewhere that you can come to, that you can call your own, no matter how small it is. For me, that's a part of stability. That's having somewhere that you can just come and just unwind, right? So yeah, so here are the things that I recommend, right, when you want to live simple in the city, right? Make sure that your apartment is clutter-free. Let me share my personal experience with you. Listen, and I am still decluttering. Clutter had me, and I only found out that later after I had a coach, and I was like talking to that person I had an online coach, and we were just talking and going through how I'm feeling. Like, I was literally getting anxious. I had anxiety attack because I wasn't understanding that too much clutter. Like, I had so much clothes. I do love to read, so if you look behind me, this is just a part of my library. I have a huge collection of books, different genres, right? So I love to read. So yes, that is one of my biggest issue. I'm a bookworm, so I buy a lot of books, but I'm curbing all of that, right? So right, make sure that you have a clutter-free apartment. And one of the things I love about living in a small space, living in a small apartment, is that you can curate that space to who you are. If you look behind me, I am the evolving Black woman. I've always represent my Blackness, right? So you see behind me, those are some of my figureheads that you can literally see right behind me, right? Like, yeah, my art pieces. That some I would have brought back. I think I bought 2 pieces when I was coming back from visiting one of the countries in Africa, and other pieces I would have bought here, going to different festivals and different places and thrift stores, you know, around in and around Toronto, right? So yeah, but make sure that it's clutter free. So my experience is that clutter, if you have too much clutter, it's going to bring anxiety. You're going to feel stress and strain, and you don't want that, right? One of my other things about living simple, and I don't know why this is just an interjection why I always choose this time to film, because this is the time that people start walking through. I live in my apartment building. If you listen, you're gonna hear people talking in the background because kids are coming home for lunch. You know, lunch, it's kind of a lunchtime, so kids are gonna come home. Their parents are gonna go get them, and they're gonna bring them home. And that's another thing we're gonna talk about, right? Proximity, right? A lot of people who live in this building, there's a school close by, and their moms, right? So yeah, so that was number one. Make sure that your apartment is clutter free, right? Save you some anxiety, okay? Save you from getting anxious and crazy in your head, and then you can't work and all of that, right? So yeah, for me, one of the things that I love is that I love gardening. I'm an outside person. I'm an earth being. So I started a patio garden, and you know, I'm so excited that spring is coming. I actually have all my stuff ready because I'm ready to plant, go outside, mess in the ground, you know, mess around with the soil and my plants. And you know, so my personal experience around that is that planting in the earth, planting on your patio, and it is doable in the city, because guess what, I've been doing it for years. Like, I literally am a part of a garden club that we have our own place that we go to garden, and I also have my own patio garden where I wake up in the morning when it's nice, you know, when it's spring coming on into summer, into fall, where I wake up in the morning early and I go look at my plants. I spend time in my little garden, and then I go off to work, right? No matter how early it is, like, I literally find time to do that because it kind of ground me, right? I have that grounding where I can reconnect with the earth, set myself for the day, and I go off to work. And I work in a busy, crazy, stressful place, right? I work in healthcare. So yeah. Okay, so yeah, start a patio garden. So my patio gardening experience have really taught me to be patient with myself, as I'm patient with the things that I'm growing in my garden. Have taught me about how I am so connected to everything that I'm doing. Like, sometimes if I don't water my plants, that is, you know, literally can see that just start withering. Guess what? If you don't water your soul, you are also gonna start withering, because you're not getting that water. And as beings, as earth beings, as humans, right, our body is what, 80% water, 80% water. And I stand to be corrected. I'm not, yeah, right? So yeah, we need to water our soul just as we water the plants in our garden. So yeah, keeping it simple, you can make a patio garden, right? And number 3 is my favorite thing. I'm a chef. I'm a vegan chef. I'm plant-based. I eat plant-based. I live plant-based. I am plant-based. I'm an earth being. I'm gonna keep saying that, people. I'm gonna keep saying that. Yeah, right. So yeah, I cook all my meals at home. That's a way of keeping it simple. Number 1 is that you know what you're feeding your family. You can be creative. It's such a good way also to save money, right? And I also plan to do, maybe later on, I'll do a video on how you can meal prep and plan your meals so that you can save money, right? That is very, very, very important, right? Cook your meals at home. Keep it simple. Inflation is up. Food is expensive. you have to be intentional about your budget and how you're spending, right? So yes, that's also keeping it simple, right? Keep your meals simple, but also nutritious, right? And you would also gain the benefit at the end of the day, right? Financial wise, physical wise, spiritual wise, emotional, mental wise, right? All of that, right? So yeah, one of my biggie about keeping it simple is about exercising while you're in the city, walking. So exercise by walking. Walking is very good. And the reason I said that is keeping it simple is that, and I'm going to tie this right into another point that I have here, is about keeping it simple by not having to have the expense of a car. I don't know if that is simple, but for me, and I'm sharing my experience, that's simple. That is what has been working for me. I'm not saying you, I'm just sharing my experience. Maybe you want to try it, maybe you don't. It's up to you. But I always say, right, you look at what people do, and if it's working and you want to evolve and you want to change, of course, you may just want to try it, right? So yeah, exercise by walking. I live very close to the lake. I live very close to Lake Ontario. So one of my things is that I just love walking to the beach. I just love going and running on the lake, right? Good for your mental health, good for your body, right? Exercise, keeping it simple. You can walk. Even if you don't have a gym close by, in the spring and in the summer, even in the winter, you can take a walk. Walking is good. So that's also part of me keeping it simple in the city. And as I said before, number 5, which is literally like tying back into number 4, as in keeping it simple, is like, don't buy a car. Like, I live downtown, and I don't know if you guys hear, but you know, sometimes when you live downtown, you can hear ambulance and police cars and all of this, right? I live in just a little secluded area when it's spring and like when it's summer. Like, it's so beautiful outside. It is so beautiful, and there's a lot of trees. You can, there's grass, it's greenery. I love green. I love earth. If you can't tell that by now, like, I'm telling you, I'm pushing it into your brain. Like, yeah, I love greenery. So yeah, don't buy a car. Why? And this is just keeping it simple. You don't have a car payment. You don't have parking fees. Parking fees in my building is so expensive, like super expensive. Just park your vehicle, right? And don't forget, you have the car loans to pay and the gas to put and the tires and all of these different things. A car is a baby. So for me, back home in my country, I had like 3 vehicles like park outside. But me coming to the city and evolving and changing my life and learning is like, no, I don't need a car, right? And I'm actually going to talk about that in another video, as in proximity, as in the P for SAPs. Yes, so we're going to talk about that, right? And it also, my biggie, I am very big on the environment, right? So one of my biggie is that I don't have a car, so it's reducing my carbon footprint. And that's big for city life, because we live in high-rise condos, and I don't live in a high-rise. I never like it's beautiful up there, but I prefer being on the ground. Okay, as I said, I'm an earth being, right? So yeah, so that's it, right? Don't buy a car because it's expensive, and we want to keep it simple. Transit is close by, people. Transit is close by, right? Yeah, I hope that you guys are getting something from these tips that I'm that I'm sharing, right? Because I just want to share my experience. I'm kind of new to YouTube, but I've come to the conclusion and the realization that when you've walked this road before, the experiences that you have, they're no longer yours. They're yours to share, so that someone coming behind can use those, right, to walk better and more fulfilling, right? Because maybe you made a mistake somewhere and you're sharing your experience, and someone may see it, and guess what? They can gain value from that. And if they're aware, if they're open, if they're intentional, maybe they can learn and get a nugget from your live experience, right? And they can do much better. So yeah, and number 6, take advantage of your small space. I think I started out with that, and that's what I want to end with, right? Take advantage of your small space. For those of you who live in the city, yes, there are nice houses in the city. They're like in Toronto alone, like, yeah, houses are like $2 million. I don't have $2 million to buy a house, right? So we live in small spaces. Even the condos are expensive, but they're still small. I live in an apartment building. I choose an apartment building that's downstairs, that I can open my windows and my doors and I can see the green. Even when it's the winter, I just love being able to open my door and see the ground, right? So take advantage. One of the reason, and most importantly, we go right back to clutter. So yes, you want to be clutter free, but you also want to be intentional, right, about what you buy. You get to create your perfect space. Like, you get to create that perfect space, right? And you walk into your home, and that becomes your sanctuary, outside of the hustle, bustle, and the busyness of, of the city life, right? The hustle and the bustle, right? And you have less space. One of the things about living in the city and living in small spaces is that you have less space. So you're going to be intentional. You're going to be able to create it the way that you want. And guess what? You save more money. If you're wise, if you're intentional, you're going to literally save more money. So yeah, that is my 6 tips that I had to share with you about living a SAP life, which is simple, living simple in the city, right? That's part 1. We have 4 more videos to go. We have 3 more videos to go, because this is number 1, sorry. And yeah, so we're just gonna recap, right? What we're gonna do for number 1. What are we gonna do? We're gonna keep it simple, right? Make sure that your apartment is clutter free. Make sure that you start a patio garden, because that's keeping it simple. Patio gardening and what you plant can cut down on your food budget, right? You can I plant a lot of stuff on my patio. Like, I can't wait to show you guys the amount of stuff I plant. Tomatoes, carrots, lettuce, beans. Like, I plant so much stuff on my patio, on my little patio. You guys are going to be surprised. It literally helps with my food bill, right? It may not make a big dent, but it really do. So, right, number 2 is have a patio garden. Keep it simple, right? Cook your meals at home, okay? That is going to help you to, going to give you the nutritious benefits, right? You're going to gain. And then, of course, you're going to cut down on your budget. You're spending all that money, okay? Exercise by walking. Keep it simple, right? Don't buy a car. Please, keep it simple. Keep it simple. Walk, 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 walk. And number 6, take advantage of your small place. That can be a contribution to society. I'm not saying that you can't have a big, beautiful space that you can, that curate how you want it. But, one of my biggie is that having a small space is so much better in a way, because it cuts down on you having to clean all these big spaces. You have more time to spend with your family, more time to do things that you love, right? So yeah, that's what I want to share with you guys. That's what I want to share with you. SAP, keeping it simple in the city. So I hope that you got something from this video. We're going to be speaking more on this. 3 more videos to go, and until next time, please like and share, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.